Well, with us now is Alp Mehmet, Director of Migration Watch, a think tank calling for reduced levels of migration in the UK. Thank you very much for joining us. What are the implications of offering a place here in Britain to this number of people?
Well, let me just say that it's absolutely right to be supporting the Hongkongers in their hour of need. I have no problem with that. I know Hong Kong well. I was connected with it when I was in the Foreign Office and visit regularly. So no problem there. However, looking at it from an immigration perspective, this is hardly the control of immigration that we were promised. The government have given an open-ended right to settle to some 5.4 million people from Hong Kong, and that includes access to the NHS, to all levels of education, to housing. So huge, huge commitment. Secondly, even if the government's estimate of only 322,000 come here over 5 years, which I think is quite low, as does Julian Chan that was interviewed earlier from Hongkongers in Britain, even if that number come over 5 years, £43 million, that's nothing. It's a drop in the ocean, peanuts. £130 each for their very first year. Clearly more will be needed. So, yeah, it's costly and it's open-ended, and I'm not absolutely convinced that it was the right approach.
What then should the approach have been, given that to control numbers but to offer safety to a large number of people are somewhat at odds with each other?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But there's no question of not offering refuge to those who need it. And those in Hong Kong clearly at the moment need it. What I'm talking about is that long-term commitment to so many people. Now, the government led us to believe that one of the reasons why they made this offer was that it was hoping that in doing so, that most Hong Kongers would somehow not come. That was the implication. And it would also be a deterrent to Beijing with regard to the security laws that have now been introduced. So they got that one completely wrong. If the government really sees numbers escalating in the way that they are very likely to once we're past COVID and the pandemic is behind us, then I think the least that they can do is look to a reduction in immigration from elsewhere. At the moment, the system that has just been introduced from January is going to lead to ever more people coming. There's no restriction on the number of work permits that are going to be issued. The least they can do, I think, is reduce the number there.
Alp Mehmet from Migration Watch, it's good to get your perspective. Thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.